Have you ever noticed that you could be doing really well in one or two areas of your life? Maybe your career is thriving and your fitness is on point, but in other areas you seem to be kind of falling apart. That's because wellness isn't just unifaceted. Wellness includes wholeness, and we are complex beings. This topic of wholeness is one that really matters a lot to me. There was a time in my life when I used to just focus on one or two areas, and I didn't think the rest of it mattered. I thought I was doing fine in my life until one day I realized I wasn't. Like I mentioned before, human beings are quite complex. There's more to us than just one or two areas. There are likely many points of view on how to divide these different areas of being. I personally have chosen to divide it into 8. 1, we are physical beings. We are emotional, we're spiritual, we're intellectual. We are relational, recreational. We are financial, and we are sexual beings. And all of those parts of us matter. And all of those parts are interconnected. Dr. Dan Siegel, who is an expert in the field of psychology, defines health as integration. Health is a harmony of all the parts. And just to be clear, that doesn't mean we are completely 100% balanced in all the parts at all times. If a balance were a seesaw, being completely balanced would be a little bit boring, right? So it's important for us to recognize that balance doesn't mean spending equal time or being at the same capability or capacity in each of these areas. What balance means here is coherence. Balance is wholeness, and you are at the center of it. I liken this to a tapestry. All of the parts are woven together into a beautiful piece of art, but if one thread or one piece is missing, the tapestry is lacking. It isn't the same. I mentioned earlier there was a season in my life where I felt really strong in my mind and in my spirit. But when it came to my body, I really wished I could be invisible. Anytime there was an activity or an event that I knew was going to include me showing up in my body and in my physicality, I either shied completely away from it or I would hide. I did not feel comfortable, and I didn't think it mattered. I knew that I was strong in my mind, like I said. I knew that I was strong in my spirit, and I felt that that was where my value was. I was becoming more and more depleted, more and more disconnected, not only from myself, but from the important relationships in my life. I was having a hard time showing up and expressing myself fully. So I got intentional and I found help. And over time, I learned that my body is a container and a conduit for my spirit and for my voice. The point here is that ignoring just one area weakens our voice, and we can't be whole. So how do we begin to look at wellness in this bigger, more complete way without becoming overwhelmed? That's the question, isn't it? Let me introduce you to a simple exercise that might be a really great help in getting you started. First of all, let's look again at the 8 dimensions of being: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, relational, recreational, financial or professional, and sexual. Now ask yourself, what does being a healthy being in each of these areas look like for me? Now, there are certain principles of health that we can't change just because we want them to be our definition. I can't say that being healthy in my physical body means that I can eat whatever I want and I can consume more sugar and more fake food than real food. That isn't a true principle. But once those true principles are in place, I can define health the way that feels good to me. For example, I had a friend years ago who was convinced that being healthy physically meant that I needed to run a marathon. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with running a marathon, but for me that just wasn't it. I was willing, however, and I went running with her and a group of friends. She created a running group and invited me to join, and she really wanted to show me that I could run a marathon. For one whole summer, I went running with her and a group of ladies, and I did learn that I can run. Did not like running before, and I really didn't believe that I could. I learned that I could run. I learned that up to 3 miles, I really enjoyed it, but after 3 miles, it just wasn't for me. What I realized that for me, being healthy physically means that I feel comfortable in my body. I feel comfortable in my clothes. I can get down on the floor. I can play with my grandkids. I can walk even up a flight of stairs with my friend and still be able to have a conversation and not feel embarrassed that I can hear myself breathe. That to me is physical health. Now to my friend, Physical health included being able to run a marathon, and that was her definition. Neither one of those are wrong as long as I'm following those main principles of health. For you, maybe emotional health looks like being able to sit with your emotions and to be able to feel them and name them, but not have them consume you. Relational health might mean that you feel safe and seen by the people that matter to you most, and that you're willing to let yourself show up in your relationships. Continue on with those definitions and just keeping in mind that your version of healthy doesn't need to look like anybody else's. This is about noticing what matters to you, what motivates you, what makes you feel in alignment with who you are. This reflection exercise matters because when all parts of you are included, your voice grows stronger. You don't lose yourself to the pressure of just one role. You show up whole, authentic, and grounded. Wellness is multi-dimensional. Every part of you matters, and every part contributes to the strength of your unique voice. Remember, wellness isn't one size fits all. Your unique voice is multidimensional, it's personal, it's unique to you, and every part of you matters. It's about harmony, not perfection. Now that you've defined what healthy looks like for you in each of these areas, which dimensions, which parts of you are asking for some attention? I will be continuing this conversation in my next series of videos, so make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe for notification about upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.